The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Discretion is advised.
Welcome to episode number 82 of Rare Form Radio. I'm Dan Cleary, as you know, and we are back for week 2 with my lovely guest, the talented, the funny Helen Hong. How are you, friend?
I'm good, but I have a mouse in my house.
Oh. Oh, shit.
So, first of all, I'm drinking a claw and I haven't had dinner.
Okay.
So I might get progressively drunker over the course of the hour.
This could be a good show.
It's going to be good because, you know, it's let's let the freak flag fly. Let the shit fly. Yeah,
Great.
Right?
I'm into it. So, first of all, are you sure it's only one mouse? I hate to say that.
Oh my God, that's what everyone says. And I'm like, why are you saying that? We thought it was one mouse. We didn't know. Apparently, me and Amy are the only people in the world that don't know that mice just don't travel solo. They're solo.
They're like Armenians. You know, they go, it's like there's probably a dozen or 2 dozen living in your house with you guys.
All right, so my sister Amy and I live together in this house in South Central. First of all, do you know, Dan, that we live in South Central 5 blocks away from the Boys in the Hood house?
No, but oh my God. Okay, so we've had plans to come over to your place for a while. Loose plans. And then COVID bullshit stuff.
And then lockdown happens, right. And like the numbers spike, and we live in LA, which is like COVID epicenter at this point. So like you keep bailing or we keep disinviting you or something happens where you've never been here.
It's on
even
our
though
end. It's my
we
end.
Technically, yeah, it's you. It's you being a little bitch, let's face it.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, you've lost the bitch tits, but the bitch attitude, I don't know.
Remembered. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
we bought this house in South Central. I did not know until I Google mapped my own house that Boys in the Hood house is a landmark on Google Maps.
Oh my God. Wow.
And that I live 5 blocks away from it. And that's how I found out that I'm like 5 blocks away from the Boys in the Hood house.
That's really great. I mean, that movie, I loved that movie.
It's such a good movie.
Growing up. And I loved it so much that, you know, the high school I went to was not a lot of black people there at all. There was maybe 2 or 3. And at one point, I've told the story before on the show, but it's very relevant now. There was this kid named D that moved to our town and showed up at our high school, and all the talk was like
just D.
Yeah, D, like DEE was how you spelled his name. And he shows up, and we're like, oh, who's this mysterious like black dude? Like this is very. It stood out very, very much, but he was like very, very cool, and like. He had a limp. And
he had a
limp. So what happened was, this is like a full-on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type deal, except worse. He was living in South Central, and he was shot. He was shot in a drive-by.
What?
So his family shipped him to suburban Massachusetts, and he went to a high school. So like,
what?
I'm just a dorky white kid. Like I was like a goth kid in high school. And then there's this really cool black kid there who had been shot, and like his coolness was through the roof.
Whoa!
Yeah. So the girls loved D because, like, I mean, he was different.
Was this Boys in the Hood era? Was this like around the time that Boys in the Hood came out?
This is 94, 95. So like a few years after Boys in the Hood, which I think was 91 or 90.
I don't know.
When did Boys in the Hood come out?
Boys in the Hood was released July 12th, 1991.
I know my movies.
You nailed it.
I'm really good. I'm really good at movie years. So that was D. So
I can't believe because the town the town in question is so white bread. It's like an affluent suburban. It's an affluent Boston suburb, and it's like, you know, just like traditional, very Massachusetts homey.
Yep, colonial.
colonial houses and snow cottages, snow on the roof. And Santa lives there probably on his off hours when he's not at the North Pole.
I mean, it's so white. Like my town and the surrounding towns have like historical societies where you have to get permission from the town to paint your house or to change your shutters.
Whoa.
Because most of the houses are like historical landmarks or like the homes are protected. So
and then here comes D, who's been shot in a drive-by in South Central, and he's like, "What's up?"
Coming in and slaying all the ass in suburban Massachusetts. It was cool. So what is South? This is such a dumb question, but is South Central the same now? What's it like nowadays?
I mean, I can't say because, even when I first moved back to LA 2012, I've been in LA now. Even then I would never, you still have the idea, the concept of in your mind that South Central is really dangerous and Inglewood is dangerous and, Compton is really dangerous. You just don't go to those places unless you absolutely have to for a reason. So I just never came down here. But now, all of LA is gentrifying because the house prices are so high everywhere. So even like I would stay in my neighborhood, which is 5 blocks away from the Boys in the Hood house. And I assume when they say Boys in the Hood house, I assume it's the house where Lawrence Fishburne lived. And
I would assume so.
Right? You assume right?
Isn't that where was Lawrence Fishburne Cuba's father?
Yeah, he was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s father, and he was like the wise man of the neighborhood, and he was like,
get your shit together.
Get your shit together, and like we need to keep the money in the neighborhood and like buy real estate here. And he was like turning those Benoit balls when he was deep in thought.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's the house that they're talking about. And I can't believe I haven't gone by there, even though it's 5 blocks away from here.
Save it. Let's all go together. Let's do a drive.
Let's do it. Oh my God. You know what we could do? We could recreate a drive-by in my Prius.
Oh my God. Probably not the smartest idea to do in Compton, Inglewood, South Central, but
I'll play the role of Ice Cube.
Perfect.
You can be Cuba Gooding Jr.
You put off heavy Ice Cube vibes.
You know what? I'll be Ice Cube. Amy can be Cuba Gooding Jr. You can be the kid that's the basketball star that gets shot.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
The way that dies.
Was Ice Cube Doughboy? Was that his name in the movie?
I don't remember. That sounds really familiar. That sounds right.
Man, I remember like I couldn't go see that in the theater because I was like 11 and you were younger than that. So I had to wait till HBO came out for me to see it. And it was on HBO, and I watched it all the time. And like that was the time when like they were cranking out those kind of
loved it.
Gang hip hop movies. It was that and Strapped, and then like Poetic Justice and that kind of stuff.
I mean, I think for us, it was probably a window into another culture. That's how I felt when I watched those movies. Like I didn't, even though like I spent part of my childhood in Brooklyn, like I didn't. I went to Catholic school. I went to private Catholic school, and like, I just didn't live that way. So I think for us, it was definitely a window into like, ooh, this is how, like, it's like being in a different country, only it's your own country.
Absolutely. And the difference, I think, with New York and LA is like in New York, when you think about violence, you're thinking more about mafia stuff. And with mafia,
that's a good point.
The people that are killed and that are hit are usually they're hit for a reason and they're targeted. But it felt like in LA there was so much collateral damage with gang stuff where it seemed more dangerous, like a war zone here, where you never know what could happen. At least to a dumb white kid from Massachusetts, that's what I was fed, and that's what I still believe to this day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've heard stories about how bad it was back in the day. Like, my neighborhood was really dangerous back in the day, I'm assuming. But now, unfortunately, everything is getting gentrified. And I would say me and Amy are like part of the first maybe 1.5 or 2 second wave of gentrification in this neighborhood. So we're not the only non-Black or Hispanic faces, but we're one of a few. There's not that many. Yeah.
Good for you guys.
So my neighborhood is entirely Black and Hispanic. And so on one side of us, we have a house with an older Black woman. She's like 65, I think. She's recently retired and she's great. We love her, Rhonda. She's the nosy neighbor. She's always sticking her head over the fence like, how y'all doing? What y'all doing? Like she wants to know what we're cooking, like what our business is. She's always like being really nosy and like bossy pants with us. She's great. And then on the other side, we have a Hispanic family. And I remember like maybe 2 months into living here, we ran into the wife of the Hispanic family. Her name is Marta. And she's like, how do you like it? And I'm like, we love it. Like we walk our dog every day. It feels really safe. And people have been really friendly to us. And she said they've been living here for, I think, 15, maybe even 20 years, that family. And she goes, oh, it's scary, but it's okay, I guess. Like she was like, because I think when she moved in 15 or 20 years ago, it was scary for her to live here. Like it was a scary neighborhood.
I mean, I would think like 5 years ago, it probably wasn't the best place to be.
Yeah. Like she literally said, oh, it's scary, but I guess it's nice.
So is that what brought you guys over there? Is just like the inability to get a house anywhere?
Yeah, we couldn't afford anywhere else. The only place we could afford when we were looking, which was the middle of the pandemic, we bought this place in July, I think. And the only reason why we could afford to buy then is because the interest rates were so low. The actual housing prices hadn't gone down at all. Maybe they had dipped a little bit, but what had changed was the interest rates on your mortgage. You could get like historically low. And I think they've even gone down since then. Like you could get a 1% interest rate now. I think I've heard 1 point something, which is unheard of. Like no one's even like even everyone we dealt with was like no one has even heard of an interest rate below 3%. Like that's crazy what you guys are getting. So that's why we could afford, but because the actual housing prices hadn't gone down, the only places we could afford were basically South Central or Boyle Heights, which is a historically very Hispanic neighborhood. Like either a very Black or very Hispanic neighborhood is what. And it, you know, we're woke people and we don't want to be these asshole gentrifiers that come in and like jack the price of everything. But we're trying to be responsible members of our community. Like we shop locally, we support Black owned businesses and Hispanic owned businesses. We support the local, like this is how Black and Hispanic it is. There's a guy that drives around our neighborhood in like a Datsun. Or a Pontiac or some ancient minivan. And he has speakers, like third world speakers attached to the top of his car. And he yells into a bullhorn that's connected to these speakers. And he's just yelling, elote, chicharrones, like he's selling shit out of the back of his minivan. And it's like corn on the cob, you know, the Mexican corn on the cobs, which is the elote, and the tamales and chicharrones, which I think is the pork skin, right? And like he's just, and he comes by every day and you just hear him and it's like you're in a third world country, like somebody's just yelling something into a microphone and this car is just passing by and he's like, I don't know half the things he's selling.
Of course.
Because he's speaking so fast. I have no idea what he's saying. I can only make out elote, chicharrone, and tamales.
He's like a ice cream man for cool LA adults.
Exactly. And I've definitely run out and been like, wait, come back. I want some corn on the cob. Come back.
I love it.
But that's how, can you imagine that happening in Silver Lake or like some bougie LA neighborhood? Like that would never happen. So that's how Hispanic and Black my neighborhood is. That this guy is allowed to just, and it's every single day and he's yelling into his bullhorn and you can hear him coming for blocks.
And that's what he does for a living.
And that's what he does for a living. So we support that guy. We love that guy. He literally brings corn on the cob to our door. And there's like Black, you know, chicken businesses and stuff that we frequent. So, my new doggy grooming place is a Black owned business, in like 2 neighborhoods over. So yeah, so we're trying to be good neighbors and not be like asshole gentrifiers that just come here and shop at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods every day and like not put money back into the neighborhood.
But you guys you're also both minorities, so that also helps too. You're not like these like white folks moving in and doing the whole shit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and everybody's been so nice to us. Like, I walk my dog every single day around the neighborhood, and people are super friendly. I think everybody knows who we are because we stand out, because it's like me and Amy, like, I think they're trying to figure us out. Like, are they a couple? Like, are they a lesbian couple and one of them's pregnant?
Oh man, what a disgusting confusion for sisters to wonder if they're a lesbian couple.
Are we a lesbian couple? One of them's pregnant. They have this crazy dog. Like, what's going on?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So being where you are, do you think the mice in your house are Bloods or Crips? Which one are they? Are they affiliated? Do they fly the colors?
You know, I have not seen them wear any kind of colors, so I couldn't tell you.
Neutral.
But
okay.
I was told actually by one of the neighborhoods 2 blocks over to not wear red in my neighborhood.
Oh,
I
wow.
was told not to wear red. And then I looked down at my dog. My dog's harness is completely red.
Wow.
Because he wears a big harness that's like covers like half your chest and stuff and goes around your back. And it's red. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to get shot because my dog is repping.
Maybe they just hate Republicans. Who knows? You really never know. So are you guys scared of mice? Like, what are your thoughts? How are you feeling about the whole thing?
I am not scared of a mouse. I am scared of the idea because literally you're like the 10th person that we've told we have a mouse that has responded by saying, are you sure it's just one mouse? Because Amy and I didn't even think of that. Like, first of all, we've named the mouse. It's a girl. We've decided she's a girl. She's tiny. Amy wants to call her Belinda.
Okay.
And I want to call her Penelope. So we're like at a crossroads of the naming of the mouse. And she's bold. She comes out. We see her all the time.
Okay.
And so I tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, we have a mouse. Amy wants to call her Belinda. I want to call her Penelope. He's like, how do you know it's just one mouse? And I'm like, oh shit, you think it's Belinda and Penelope and Sam and Ryan and their kids and their cousins and all that? He's like, for sure.
Yeah, no, without question. Without question. They don't like it's not like Big Bang Theory with mice. They're made by other mice, and they have babies and they love to fuck. You know, they love it. They love it. Little sluts, little slut mice.
I love that you know that for sure that mice love to fuck.
Oh yeah, they love it. They love it. Believe me, if there's one thing I know, it's that mice love to fuck. I'm sure of it. We had a mouse in our house when I was a kid, and we caught it on one of those sticky traps, you know, like the sticky trays.
Yes.
And I went and told my mom, I was like, Mom, we got one. And I don't like I was kind of freaked out. I was a kid. And she's like, oh, Dan, please kill it. You have to kill it. I was like, what? Why did we get the sticky trap?
She told you, 11-year-old you?
I was younger. I was probably 8 or 9.
She told 8-year-old you that you had to kill the mouse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I was like,
she trying to teach you something about life, or was she like literally just freaked out?
Maybe she didn't love me. Maybe she wanted to fuck me up. I don't really know. But I was like, well, how am I supposed to kill the mouse? He's like, if we had a mouse trap, it would have killed it on its own. Why am I doing this? And she's like, just find a way. I don't care how you do it, but just kill it. So so now she's making me think about ways to kill something. So what I did was I got a...
oh, shit. That's really fucked up. When you were 8? That's really fucked up.
8, 9, 10. But I was a child. I definitely wasn't a teenager when, I should be killing things. I was too early. I was too young to be killing. So I had this coffee can, and I put the mouse in the coffee can and then filled the coffee can with water, hoping it would
drown it.
But the tray is styrofoam. So it just kicked around for a minute, and then the tray floated up, and now it's just like floating on top of the water.
No.
So then I had to find something heavy to like put on top of it to push them down the bottom. And I had to
oh my God, Dan, this makes so much sense about what a fucked up human you are. That you had this experience when you were 8, that you had to murder something when you were 8, and now you're like, and that's why I am the way I am.
I probably would have never moved on to killing human beings if I didn't start with that mouse. Yeah, it was weird. I felt so bad afterwards. Just like,
oh, you did?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I didn't like mice, but it didn't do anything to me. I didn't want it in our house, but that's it.
That's exactly the position that we find ourselves in, because like we've seen her. She's tiny. I mean, her body is maybe 1.5 inches long. Like that's how big this mouse. It's tiny.
So just one bite.
And exactly. And like, she's just trying to survive. Like, she's not doing anything to us. And, so my dad's like, you got to get those glue traps and they stick right on there. You just toss the trap. And I'm like, that sounds so inhumane. So we bought these humane mouse traps that you can buy on Amazon. They're these green tubes and you put like peanut butter on one end and there's a trap door on the other and they go in, they set off the trap door and then they're trapped, but they're alive. And then you just drive them out to the wilderness and you let them go. So we bought 2 of these. We put all kinds of food in there. No mice. Like my dad's like, yeah, they're not dumb. Like this weird random thing shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're not
going to like enter this strange green cave that just appeared out of nowhere within it. Nah.
No.
And so we've had these traps. It's been like 2 weeks now, maybe even 3 weeks that these traps have been out and they're like, And then crazy enough, I had to shoot on Friday. I was out all day Friday because I was shooting a sketch show for Netflix. I come back and it's like dark. House is dark. I turn on the lamp and I hear this rustling in the kitchen. I'm like, oh my God, it's Penelope/Belinda. And I hear this rustling and I'm like, Belinda, Penelope. I'm like crawling because I'm a weirdo. And I keep hearing this rustling. I mean, you assume she senses the lights go on. She senses my footsteps stomping around the house. She's going to get freaked out and run back to the stove. She lives under the stove, by the way.
That's where they
and
go.
We turned on the stove and turned on the broiler to try to fucking heat her out, and she won't come out. So I don't know what's going on under there. If it's like if I don't know. Anyway, I keep hearing this rustling in the kitchen, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I go into the kitchen, and there's an empty paper bag that we just like brought groceries home, and we left the paper bag on the floor. She's trapped herself inside the paper bag. I don't know how she got in there. I don't know if she did a running leap off of the kitchen table to jump in there. I don't know. All I know is she's trapped in the bag and she keeps bouncing to try to get out. She's bouncing up and down and she's like running around inside the bag. Terrified, bouncing. And I'm like, shit, what do I do? Shit. So I have this grabber, those grabber things that you can grab like things that are like far away. Yeah. We're both 5 feet tall, so we need a grabber. Right. Like we need grabbers. So I have this grabber. So I grab the grabber, and what I intend to do is somehow close the bag with the grabber because I'm freaked out. I don't want to grab the bag with my own hands because what if she jumps onto my face somehow? I have this nightmare. Nope. She's gonna like leap and latch onto my face like Alien, and then cover my mouth and like
plant eggs
inseminate
in your throat.
me.
Yep.
Yeah, inseminate my throat with eggs and then chest burster. Like nah. Mm-mm. So I get the grabber. I grab one end of the bag, and I think because of the movement, or like maybe I like changed the dynamic of the bag, she was able to jump out the other side.
Helen,
because I grabbed it, and then she goes scurrying off, and I'm like, no, Belinda, get back, get your ass back here, you bitch.
You had her.
I let her out.
You had her.
I totally had her. She wrapped her fucking self in an empty paper bag. And then I just told Amy, and Amy like yelled at me for like 5 minutes, was like, you had her, you let her go. Why didn't you just grab the bag? And I was like, she was going to chest burst me.
This reminds me.
Jump into my face.
I just watched this documentary on Netflix it's called The Ripper. It's about this serial killer in England, not Jack the Ripper, but he ripped off Jack the Ripper. And the police interviewed this guy 9 times, and they didn't piece together that it was the guy. So that's basically what you did. You had the mouse.
I interviewed the mouse 9 times, and the mouse still got away.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I should be ashamed of myself. I mean, she fucking caught herself for me, put herself in a fucking empty paper bag for me, and because I was too much of a wimp to just grab the bag with my hands and roll it up and tie up the top of the bag, she got away. Away.
You definitely want to get her, because mice, now that you're a homeowner, this mice and the mice friends and family, they can like chew through wires and chew through your electric stuff. And
well, we have a baby coming.
Yeah.
So we cannot have, because I've already found her droppings, like her little poop pellets, like around the house.
Amy's a mouse.
That's a good question. I should ask Amy. Did you leave these tiny shits?
Do you need attention, Amy? Do you need attention?
Did you leave these tiny shits in the corner of this room? Did you, Amy?
How'd you make them so small?
So, Yeah. But the thought of doing what you did and mouse murdering is really, I don't even eat. Like I don't eat red meat because I am have feelings for animals. Like I feel I'm a softie for animals. So like the idea of like getting a glue trap or one of those horrible like mouse traps that snaps and breaks your spine, like
well at least the snap is like it snaps and it's over. But the glue trap, it's like, why am I here? Oh, why am I here? And what's this person doing with me? Why am I drowning? Yeah, I'm a mouse. I'm not supposed to drown.
God, I can't believe you drowned it in a coffee can. That's so gnarly. I can't believe that she made you do that when you were like so young. Did you ever ask her about that?
Well, my mom was a heavy alcoholic, and there were many years where I don't think she had a whole lot of concern. I mean, she always loved me, but not a ton of concern for like, what's this doing to my son? You know, not a whole lot of that. So, I mean, I have my problems, but I'm amazed that I came out as well as I did. Considering
I am amazed too, considering all the things and the mouse murder.
Yeah, it was a home of alcoholics. It was a hoarder house. So it was like there was garbage everywhere. And like that's the kind of place I grew up in. So it was wild.
That's so crazy. Like it's crazy to think because you grew up in such an idyllic Massachusetts suburban town with like literal white picket fences and colonial style houses. And like it's so interesting to be like, oh yeah, there's like shit goes down in these nice ass places.
Oh yeah, but it was no surprise. Like my house in town, we had the smallest house in the entire town, and it was definitely like the white trash house. So there was like, you know, myself and my stepdad, we both worked on cars and trucks, so we had like tires in the front yard, and we would keep our Christmas tree until like February or March because we were too lazy to get rid of it. So when we're done, we'd open the front door and just throw it on the front lawn. And at one point, I swear to God, I think we had 3 Christmas tree skeletons like piled up together over the course of 3 years. Yeah. I mean, it was just sticks and twigs and, you know, dead needles. But that's just the kind I didn't know any better until I moved at 19 years old and moved to LA. That's when I realized like, oh, things can be nice. Things can be clean. You can, and I still am I'm not a hoarder, but I'm not like I'm not a neat freak.
I'm a straight up hoarder.
Oh, you are?
I'm a straight up hoarder. I'm a person that would absolutely have a Christmas tree skeleton out on the lawn for like half a year. And Amy is the opposite. I don't know how Amy and I grew up in the same house because my parents are hoarders. My parents are hoarders for a reason. They grew up starving in the war. And so they shop. They're these 2 tiny Korean people that weigh probably 200 pounds together combined. And they shop for food at Costco.
Oh, perfect. Amazing.
A pantry that has like, why do you have 19 over jumbo-sized jars of spaghetti sauce? Because they grew up in the war starving and they have that paranoia. So they always have a shit ton of food. Like if like the doomsday, they're like unintentional doomsday preppers. They just have a basement full of like shit, food, everything. And they save everything and nothing goes to waste and nothing gets thrown out. And I totally adopted that mindset from them. And I'm the same way. So like I have a hard time throwing away takeout food containers.
Oh, you're okay.
Like
that's
I have
how far
a hard,
gone.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I have a hard time. Like I actually have to like, it's a struggle. And we have plenty of them and we get takeout all the time. Like we have plenty of them. We don't need anymore. I intellectually realize that. But the idea of like just tossing this in the trash, like it just gives me pause. Like I just have to like, I have like an emotional wrestling moment before that happens. Amy, meanwhile, is like she went 180 degrees. Like she's a minimalist. Right. I think because she grew up in that environment where we just had a ton of shit. There was shit everywhere. There was just piles of stuff and nothing was organized in our house. Shit was piling up. You know, there's like they shop at Costco and they come back and they have like 55 of everything that's not really necessarily needed. So Amy went the opposite direction. She's a complete minimalist. So like we're struggling now because now we're living together.
Yep.
Of dealing with that.
That's funny. One of the questions I have for you tonight is like, what's the hardest part about living with your sister? And it sounds like that might be it.
It's that. Yeah, it's actually the only point of contention. Like me and Amy get along really, really well, thank God. There are siblings that don't get along and we totally get along. We're like super tight and we're best friends and we laugh all the time. And the only point of contention is this like hoarding versus minimalism stuff.
I wonder if it's like, if she can do that because like Amy's the kind of person where you never know, oh, where are you living now? Are you in SF? Oh, you're back in the East Coast. Oh, now you're in LA. She's always on the go. So maybe that lifestyle has made her a bit of a minimalist. I don't know, but like,
I mean, I should be considering how long I lived in tiny apartments in New York City. Like, I've lived in studios in New York City that were literally 350 square feet and 400 square feet. And so I should be a minimalist considering like I never had the space for shit.
Yeah.
But if I'm left to my own devices and my saving grace is that I do tend to move for some reason. I move house frequently. Like I've never lived in one apartment ever for more than 3-4 years.
Oh, wow.
And that requires me, like, when I move, I have to get rid of half the shit because it's like, what even is this stuff? Like, why am I keeping this? Like, what is this? Like, I have to drag this to the new place? No, I got to get rid of it. That's the only reason why I am not full hoarder where there's just like shit everywhere and there's just a tiny path in the middle of the room, like with crap on both sides, like leading to my bed from the bed to the door, you know?
Of course. Yeah. Did you watch that show Hoarders when it was on A&E?
It was so disturbing to me. I've watched a couple of episodes and I couldn't watch it regularly because I was like, oh my God, it's my future. It's like the ghost of Christmas future for me. and it's disgusting. Like some of these people live with like I don't live with trash.
Right.
I live with a lot of stuff.
Right.
But like I don't eat food and leave the containers lying around. Like that
was my house. That was my house. So
I
there were so many times where like my mom, for dinner, I mean, she made great food, but to see where it came from always grossed me out because she was going to make like, a big thing of pasta. So she'd grab like the big pasta pot for the whole family. And it was full of like hairy mold. Like you could see it coming out the top.
Ew.
So she'd have to scrub that out and then make our food in it. So like,
hairy mold.
I mean, she cleaned it
because she hadn't washed it from the last time she cooked something.
Yeah, so it could sit there for a month or two, and like there was like glasses of like curdled milk everywhere. So like
I can't handle that.
Yeah, I'm happy I didn't inherit that gene. You know what I mean? And I know that like the real hoarders that are connected to trash, there's like an emotional connection to something. Where it's more about if you've experienced some kind of trauma or loss, for some reason it manifests in hoarding a lot. And it definitely happened more with my family after my grandmother died. It kind of like, my mom always kind of saved stuff, but after she experienced that kind of trauma, it just went into high gear.
Yeah, she got derailed.
Yep.
Yeah, thankfully it doesn't manifest like I can't have like, if there's dirty dishes, like we got to clean the dishes. Otherwise we will have bugs. I have a paranoia for bugs.
Oh.
For some reason, I'm not paranoid about rats or rats or mice, but bugs, holy shit.
Yeah.
If I see one roach, I'm selling this goddamn house.
No, you should.
If I see a single roach, I will light this house on fire.
Yeah, that's not that.
Like,
I'm telling you,
it.
that is not a dramatic reaction. That's the correct reaction to have.
It's so disgusting and horrifying. But like this mouse thing, I don't know. I'm not getting too twisted about it. I'm only getting twisted about it because we have a baby on the way and now we have to like up our cleanliness game.
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed in my dog Dodger. I got to tell you. My dog Dodger, he doesn't.
For the mouse, not getting the mouse.
Not getting the mouse. Like chill.
That's not what dogs do.
So chill. I swear to God. Job. Even to this day, we've had this mouse for 3 weeks. We've seen it often. This dog does not know there's a mouse in the house. Like he's like, what? What's the commotion over there?
You have like a stoner dog. Yeah, couldn't care less.
Dog is so chill. He's like, I swear to God, this dog could probably run right in front of it, and he'd be like, what even is that? What's going on?
I'm just not gonna even worry about it, man. I'm just chilling over here. I'm low energy Dodger. Don't worry about me.
Enjoying the podcast? If you'd like to show support for Rareform, there are a couple of ways. Become a patron at patreon.com/rareformradio. Make a one-time donation or choose from a few subscription levels paid monthly for extra benefits. Those extra benefits include bonus episodes not available to the public, exclusive live streams, more interactions with the gang, along with other special perks that will change over time. Choose your level of donation and know that your contributions go to keeping the show running and growing, paying crews behind the scenes, and just supporting independent artists. That's patreon.com/rareformradio. You can also get Rareform merch by going to rareformradio.threadless.com. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all kinds of silly shit. We're constantly adding new things and limited time only goodies. That's rareformradio.threadless.com. You can also help build the show by subscribing, leaving a review, and most importantly, leaving us a rating on iTunes and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Lastly, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram by searching @Rareform Radio. Thanks for supporting independent entertainment.
Well, speaking of low energy, I'm actually a little bit low energy. I earlier this week, I got myself a vaccine.
No! Did you cut in front of the line? How'd you get it?
Well, I saw there was this very, very old woman with a vaccine, and I just took it from her. I just beat her up and took it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, in LA, there's this. It's weird. I mean, obviously, the whole country, there's not a whole lot of information as to what you're supposed to be doing.
No, it's such a shit show. This whole vaccine thing is such a shit show.
So in LA, they're doing a thing where, there's like hundreds of doses, if not 1,000 doses a day, are being thrown away because they lose the refrigeration or people don't show up for their appointments.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people don't show up. Yeah. That's what I've heard.
So you're allowed to go to these places and stand in line. And if they have extras at the end of the day, when all the appointments are done, they give them out. So you can go stand in line for 6 hours and get nothing, or stand in line for 1 hour and get one. And I got lucky. I got lucky and got my first shot.
Was this at Dodger Stadium?
Nope, it was a different place. It was a different place in the Valley. And yeah, the first day, a couple friends of mine went and they waited in line for 3 or 4 hours, and they got to the front. And they said, "Sorry, we got no extras today."
Oh shit!
And then I went and a couple days later and waited for a couple hours, and it worked.
How do you feel? Do you have an extra hand growing out the top of your head?
Yes.
Do you have gills? Gills? Can you breathe underwater? Tell me everything.
Real weird. The QAnon was right. Don't take the vaccine, everybody. It's really no. I was fine for the first like five hours, and then my arm got sore, which is very, very normal for flu shots and vaccines. And then that night, I felt weird. I just felt like a little like floaty heady, a little confused, like I was coming down with being a little sick, but I didn't feel like I had the flu. My body just felt strange, and I slept pretty good that night. Woke up the next day and arm hurt more, still manageable, just like a sore arm. And the next day I was just tired, just fatigued. And then by the third day I was like pretty good. And now like I'm just like a little bit slow, a little sleepy. So it was nothing.
2 days. So you just had 2 days of like a little bit of feeling off and fatigued, and then just now you're on the mend.
Yeah, there was no panic. There was no like I shouldn't have done this. It was easy, and I feel very, very grateful because I have asthma, so I'm really worried about.
Oh, you're COVID. In a high risk case.
Yeah,
you're a high risk group.
Not to the risk where, like, I think I'm in phase 3. If I didn't get it already, I would have been like. So it's right now. It's old people and doctors and nurses. The second round, I think, is like essential workers, and then third round, I think, would be people like me. So I'm grateful, and a little bit of my fear is gone. I get the second shot, I think, in a month, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for science.
The second shot is when the hand comes out of your head.
Yeah. Right now,
arm. It's just the little baby arm.
There's a little bump under the skin where I know it's like growing.
It's going to be a baby arm.
But it needs the power to push through to really get it.
Shit.
Yeah.
I am not going to get it. I'm paranoid.
Don't be. No. Don't be.
No,
I'm
not getting it. My sister's not getting it because she's pregnant, and they've been advised not to get it. Pregnant people have been advised not to get it.
Let's talk about this.
And then I'm not going to get it because I don't even get the flu shot ever. Like I think I just have a wimpy immune system. Like my immune system is shit. And
that's the reason that's why you should get the vaccine.
No, that I feel like I would be one of those people that would like come down with COVID.
No, it doesn't work that way. Like this is not a vaccine. Like a lot of historic vaccines, they give you a piece of the disease so you can fight it. That's not what this vaccine does. It doesn't give you.
You know what, Dan?
COVID.
I'm sick of hearing about your science bullshit. Okay, I know you have facts and sciencey shit, and I'm like, whatever. I am a very smart person. I'm very intuitive.
Mm-hmm. I like that you're a while ago you're saying how woke you are, and woke people are supposed to be into science, and you're like, no, but I have a feeling.
I'm going to go with my feel on this, and fuck your science.
Oh, I wish you would get it. We need people to get it.
No, I'm scared to get it. I'm scared. I don't even get the flu shot every year. Like, I'm
either.
Just very like,
But aren't you scared to get fucking COVID?
I'm actually less scared of getting COVID than I am of getting the vaccine. I don't know why. I just don't want to get the vaccine. I just don't want to get it. I don't know. It is absolutely unscientific and absolutely illogical, but I don't want to get it. I don't want to mess with my system, and I'm not going to do it. I mean, my parents are getting it, and I encourage them getting it because they're 75. I totally encourage them getting it, especially because they're planning to come here in May when the baby comes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely want them to get it. And they've the waits in Massachusetts are even longer because everybody in Massachusetts believes in science.
Yeah, it's true.
As opposed to,
let me ask you this question.
Like, they were like, I can't believe I can't believe LA County has opened up, or California has opened up to 65 and older. And I'm like, it's because nobody wants to get it here because people are dumb.
Yeah, I'm talking to one of those people right now, and it's driving me crazy. So let me ask you this. If there was this, let's pretend there was like an airborne thing going around, and if you caught it, you had a high chance of being murdered, okay? So like you catch, someone breathes in your face at a grocery store, and now you're like, oh my God, now I'm at a high risk of being murdered. But you could take 2 shots that guarantee you don't get murdered. Would you take that shot?
Yeah, but I kind of want the first wave of people to get it, to see how the baby arm, like to see about the baby arm and like the dick splitting and all the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to have a baby arm growing out of your neck, and your dick is going to split into like little hands. Like you're going to have, your dick's going to be like able to grab things.
So could I jerk off my dick with my own dick?
Maybe. It's possible. Pretty cool. It's very possible that one side of your dick could get jerked off by the hand on the other side of the dick, and then vice versa.
I might get 3 shots. This sounds like a blast.
And then gills, and then you're gonna have gills and like be able to breathe underwater. I want to see how all that manifests for the first wave of people, and then I will decide, like maybe in 4 or 5 months.
Well, that's kind of when your number would be up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I'm in the lead. I'm dead last.
Okay.
I'm young. I have no risk factors. I don't have asthma. I don't have diabetes. I don't have anything. So I would be dead last. I'm not an essential work. I'm a fucking actor. Come on.
Right.
So like I would be dead last, and I should be.
We are so non-essential when like you work for bands or music and comedy and whatever. Like we're not important.
No.
Okay, so I'm not as mad now. I'm happy that you're open to the idea of it, but you just don't want to do it. I am open to
the idea of it. Believe it or not, Amy and I think the same way. Like she didn't want to, even if she shouldn't get it because of her pregnancy. She's like, I wouldn't get it in the first wave. I want to see what your baby arm looks like.
What if it's like a really cool, like very?
If you have if the baby arm that grows out of the back of your neck is really cool, then yeah, I'll get it.
Like if my baby arm could be a hand model, would you be in?
Absolutely.
Think of the jobs you could get. Like you could be doing stand up and have your arms down by your side, and then the one behind your neck can hold the mic for you. People will come just to see that.
How big do you think a baby arm is, Dan? Come on, it's a baby arm. It can't hold a whole mic. But maybe it'll use. Maybe if I had 2 baby arms.
Or it can hold. You can get one of those skinny mics. It can just hold onto that little, the McDonald's mic. I don't know.
Britney Spears mic.
That's exactly right. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you get it at some point. I'm happy that you're going.
Well, I'm glad that you survived the first shot. I'm glad you survived the first shot. I cannot wait to see your gills and your baby arm. And I love this stuff. Were you a fan of X-Files back in the day?
Yes. It's weird because like I grew up. I loved unsolved mysteries. I've been absolutely obsessed with UFOs since I was a little boy.
Really?
Oh, I love UFOs. I still, to this day, I won't go.
Do you think that we've been visited by UFOs for sure?
Helen, come the fuck on. Of course we have.
Of course we have. I'm so glad you said that.
They're here now.
Oh my God, they're amongst us.
They are. They are here. They're here.
So glad you said that. I can't believe people don't believe that. It's like, really? You think we're the only fucking people, like the only intelligent life in the universe? Get all the way the fuck out.
You know, and they're very intelligent. We know they're hyper intelligent, and they would definitely get the vaccine right now if they could. For sure.
Well, they need the gills. I mean, they appreciate the gills in the baby arm.
Oh, one more thing about my vaccine, then we'll get to X-Files. When you go to this place, obviously it's a drive-through vaccination place, and the line is like, you sit in your car, but the line is around tons of city blocks. So there's hundreds or like 1,000 cars trying to get into this place. And I was, you're going around the block and you make a right turn to get on the next street, and a woman was coming the other direction, and she like squeezed in behind me to cut into the line, and there's 100 cars behind me probably. She's a cutter. So I'm looking at this and being like, and someone cut me the other day, the day before that I went, and I got really angry. I have a little bit of problems when it comes to car stuff. So she cuts behind me, and the woman behind her is this like young Latina chick, and she was not having it. So she gets out. She walks up, she's like, open your window. Put your window down, bitch. I can't hear you. And it's like this white chick who's my age who cut the line. Oh no! This one behind me is like, you can't cut the line. We're all in line. And this Latina chick, she's getting really angry, and she ends up going back to her car. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about it more and more. And I'm like, that really is fucked up. You can't. It's so fucked up. You can't do that. So I put my car in park, and I get out of the car, and I walk up, and I was like, just put your window down. And she goes, what? She puts the window down. I'm like, listen. You can't cut the line. Like, there's a system here, and she cuts me off. She goes, no, I have an appointment. I'm here to get a vaccine. The light changed, and I got in behind you. I was like, hold on. That's not how this works. This is not a normal traffic scenario. We're all in line. You have to go to the back. And then the Latina chick saw me talking to her, so she runs up, and she gets involved again. Oh, shit. And
this is good. This is juicy, Dan. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So then I'm like, this woman is like, being completely disrespectful to me.
She's an entitled fucking bitch.
She is the white privileged whore that we all hate. That's what she is. So then I start being like, you can't fucking go. You have to go to the back of the line. Don't be a bitch. Go to the back of the line. You can't do this. Like, you're being rude to everybody here. And she's like, I have an appointment. I was like, we all have appointments. Like, that's why we're here, you dummy. And I know it's going nowhere. So I get back in my car, and I'm just annoyed. So a few minutes go by, and I see this older Latino woman running up along the passenger side. And then my same Latina friend runs up, and they get in front of the woman's car. And I see like they're starting to get really upset, and they start directing traffic to just come around this woman. So they're keeping her from driving. And they probably let like 20, 30 cars like hop in front.
That's awesome.
And I'm looking at my rear view. I'm like, they're going to get run over. Like, this is going to be one of those things that's on video where the white chick's going to get mad and run over a couple of brown girls. And it just like, it ended up working out. But people make me
How did it end up working out? Did she go to the back?
I couldn't tell. I mean, it's like 20, 30 cars pulled in behind me. Yeah, I was way up there.
Damn, you know what? Good for them. And I'm so glad they took a stand. People who cut in line enrage me. And I'm so glad you got out and said something, because that was the right thing to do. And if I was in your position, I would have done the same thing. Yeah. And I have a road rage problem. I don't know. You alluded to having a road rage problem. I have a road rage problem. Dan, I bought a baseball bat at a Goodwill one time I was like, I saw this baseball bat. It was $2 at Goodwill. I was like, you know what? I'm a single woman living by myself. I should own a baseball bat and hide it under my bed in case some motherfucker tries to get in my room and I can bash his head in. Mm-hmm. I bought this baseball bat. I had it in my car for one day. And I said, I have to get this baseball bat out of my fucking car because I will kill someone.
Oh,
because having that baseball bat, driving around, I had a weapon in the car with my road rage. I had so many moments where I was like, oh, I have a baseball bat. I could just get out the car right now and bash this motherfucker's mirrors off.
Right.
That's how I get incensed. Like something clicks in my brain and I go to some crazy place.
Oh,
I couldn't keep a baseball bat in my car because I was like, I'm going to get arrested.
So give me what are your triggers? What are the things that drive you nuts most about being on the road? What's the thing where, like for me, it's when people in front of me don't use their blinkers and just
enrage.
And I've a couple years ago, someone did that in my neighborhood. They just started slowing down, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, there's no lights. What are you doing? And they just kind of slowly made their right. And I started following them. And I don't know what I was doing, but I'm like, I'm going to their house. I may never go home. I might kill this person. I might never see my wife again outside of prison bars.
Oh.
So I'm driving behind them for 2 or 3 minutes. And I finally had a moment of clarity of like, whoa. What are you doing? What is your plan? What are you going to go to their house and then follow them inside? Are you going to talk to them in the driveway? Are you just going to so I had I got to stop. So I stopped following the person. But for me, it's blinkers. That's the big thing for me. What are yours?
Blinkers enrage me. People who swerve into my lane because they're texting.
Oh, yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, people who abruptly cut me off. People who cut off trucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you're making a left turn, or if you're making a left turn and there's a car coming and they just kind of...
Or people that cut off trucks and buses. Yeah. I hate those people so much. Because, a truck and a bus, they don't have a braking radius the way, they don't have the braking ability.
My dad is a truck driver.
These poor, it's like, you fucking idiot. It takes that truck... 3 truck, the length of 3 of that truck, maybe 4 or 5 of that truck to come to a dead stop, and you're going to cut that truck off or that city bus, you fucking jackass.
Yeah,
I hate them so much. I get enraged so much. I mean, this is why I can't own a gun.
Yeah.
If I owned a gun, I would be in jail right now. I would have killed so many motherfuckers.
Well, I'm very happy you got rid of your bat. I'm happy you don't have a gun. I was driving on Sunset a bunch of years ago, and I was kind of right by like the Laugh Factory area, and there was this guy in front of me driving so slow, and the person in front of me was driving slow. So the person in front of me was driving slow, and I couldn't get around. I'm like, what is this fucking asshole doing? So I'm finally able to pull up beside him, and I put my window down. I'm screaming. It's an old man. I'm like, you fucking asshole. The gas is on the right. Use it. What are you doing? He looks over at me, and it was Larry King.
No!
God rest his soul. We just lost Larry King, but I screamed and hollered and was fantasizing about murdering this man before I realized.
Oh, that's such an LA story. The old man that you're screaming at for being a jackass driver is Larry King.
Larry King.
But you know what? There should be an age limit. I really do. I think that after 60. the age of 60. After the age of 60, you need to take an aptitude test to be able to drive. I can't because there's so many old people. Old people are a menace on the road. I'm sorry.
You're right.
And you know what? I was the victim of a road rage, a bad road rage situation.
I'm going to settle in. Tell me the story.
Okay. So I was headlining at the La Jolla Comedy Store, which is the comedy store that's in San Diego. And my roommate at the time, the roommate that I was living with just before I moved into this house with Amy, is a really good friend of mine, a great comic, buddy, good comic. And we live together. So I'm like, hey, come open for me and we can drive together. You could drive. And he's like, great. He also has a Prius. So it's me and him and his dinky Prius. And we're on the 5 freeway at 3 p.m. going down to San Diego. And we I didn't quite catch like what precipitated, but I guess like he switched lanes, and then when you're in the situation where you switch lanes and then the person on the other side of that lane is also trying to get in.
Yes.
And so almost hit each other.
Yes.
Although it's nobody's fault, right? Because you both see an open space in that lane and you're both trying to get in it from the opposite side. But it's nobody's fault. It's just like
it happens.
It's just the shit that happens that like you almost hit because like you're trying to get in and then he's trying to get in. Like, whoa, there was a car there I didn't notice before.
Right.
I think that's what precipitated that. I wasn't really paying attention. And then, so this guy, all of a sudden I noticed there's a car behind us honking like he is leaning on his horn. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what's going on? And Faraz, my roommate, is like, I don't know. I think that guy thinks I cut him off. Like we were trying to merge into the same lane. I don't know. This guy's just pissed. So the guy also is in a Prius. So we're both in two dinky Priuses. And this guy, the funniest thing is the horn on the Prius. I don't know if you know that the horn on the Prius is like.
My wife drives one, yes.
Yeah. Like it's the dinkiest. Like if there's one thing I could change about my car, I would put a fucking GMC truck horn onto my Prius. Because I am so enraged and I want to be I want it to be like, but it's like, me. And I'm like, no, that's not the noise. This noise is not the same as my rage right now.
They shouldn't be cute. Horns shouldn't be cute.
No, It's so dinky. So I just hear this me, and I'm just laughing because it's so funny sound. This guy's leaning on it. So he's obviously like pissed, but he's in a Prius or whatever.
Yeah.
So the guy then swerves into the next lane to pull up next to us to mad dog us, right? Because obviously that's what you do when you're enraged. You want to get up next and fucking mad dog this person. So he's like some Armenian dude. Of course. And Faraz, this is what started the whole thing, like down this path of like fucking getting attacked, is Faraz being cheeky, starts waving really happy at the guy, like, hi, sorry, hi, like waving and then giving the peace sign, like taunting the guy. Like he was like, what's up, hi, like being really cute, cheeky, taunting the guy. Oh my God, Dan, it was so crazy. So I literally say, the words are coming out of my mouth. I said, you shouldn't do that because if that guy's Armenian, he's going to come back and kill us. I literally say those words. I say, if that guy's Armenian, he's going to come back and kill us. Literally, I say the words. 2 seconds later, bam! We get fucking rammed.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And I'm like, what the fuck? And we're both in the fast lane at this point. So we're going 70 miles an hour. And thank God he's in a dinky Prius, because if he was in a better car, we would have been fucked up. So he's ramming his dinky Prius into our dinky Prius and at 70 miles an hour. Bam! Then wait. Bam! He hit us 3 times, Dan.
Are you shitting me?
3 times. He was trying to run us off the fucking road.
Oh my God.
And I had just said that. And it, like later, Franz is like, you got to watch what you say. I swear to God, you manifested that. You manifested that Armenian guy trying to kill us.
He tried to blame you.
And I was like, I think it's because you were taunting him through the windshield. It was so crazy. This guy tried to run us off the road. He hit us 3 times. I'm calling 911. Like other people around us were calling 911. I mean, we pull over, like we're in the middle of like Orange County, we're in Irvine somewhere, like who knows where we are. We pull over to a gas station, we're calling 911, we're both shaking. I'm like trying to catch video, but like I hit the record button and then hit it again, so I didn't even get the video.
The worst.
Because I'm so my hands are shaking because like we're in a near death experience. So I hit it, but I hit it again. And then he's like, "Did you get it?" I'm like, "I didn't get it. He's like, "Okay. I memorized the plates. I memorized the plates." So we call the cops. The cops come over. They're like, "Yeah, we had multiple 911 calls saying this guy was trying to kill you guys." And we have the description of the car, and like
the cop's like, let me guess, was he fucking Armenian?
I mean, it was crazy. And then the guy, and so we're like chit-chatting with the cop, like, because we're so adrenalized, we're just like vomit mouth. We're just like, blah, 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 blah. And then we're just like blurting words to the cops because we're like so freaked out. We almost died. And I'm like, I couldn't get the video and like, have you ever seen this happen before? And one of the cops is like, we've never seen it happen before. We've heard of people hitting a car once.
Right.
We've never heard of a car trying to ram you 3 times.
I mean, that's horror movie shit. That's what you see in horror movies or action movies.
And I'm like, whoa, this fucking state trooper is telling us that he's never seen a car get rammed 3 times. That's how crazy this motherfucker was.
Oh my God.
They put a warrant out for his arrest. They went to his house. They like all this stuff. The guy was arrested. He was charged. He had a court date that we were supposed to go to court in June, and then it got pushed back because of COVID. The court date just came up like 2 months ago, and he missed his court date. So now there's a warrant out for this guy's arrest.
Holy shit. Like, yeah. This guy's road rage makes ours look like pussy shit. Like,
I mean, I thought I was crazy for not being able to have a baseball bat. This guy tried to run us off the road in his Prius.
That's hilarious. That's another, like, it's a really funny LA thing too, is like 2 road raging Priuses that are doing like demolition derby on the 405, you know,
on the 5 freeway going to San Diego. And like even the cop was saying, like, we've seen this in a truck. Like often you'll see, like, if it's a bigger car, they'll bump the car because they know it won't do any damage to their car. So it's usually a truck or a big SUV or something. We've never heard of a guy trying to ram in a Prius.
This guy was, if he killed himself, he'd be fine with it just as long as he could get to you guys. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. I mean, he was cuckoo pants.
That is wild.
Cuckoo pants.
That is really crazy shit.
And he definitely was like, he was like, if he wasn't Armenian, he was like some sort of like Kazakh or Afghani, something like that. Like, I mean, not to shit on Armenians, but Armenians have like that's not the first time I have almost like been run off the road by an Armenian. Like, they have a rage trigger.
We've talked a lot about Armenians, strangely, on this podcast over the years. And there's something, it's very like masculine macho culture. And it's a very kind of misogynistic culture. And not all of them, of course, you know, we're very much generalizing and stereotyping, but
of course
it's a macho culture, like Italians in some ways, you know, just like this.
Yeah, like the Sicilian, like a rage trigger. Yeah, because that's not even the first time. Like that's like the 3rd time that I've almost been like had a road incident with an Armenian guy.
Basically, the point of this show is fuck Armenians. You know?
No,
not at all. Not at all.
Don't tweet at us. Don't write the emails.
We won't even respond.
Don't do it.
Do you have a little bit more time?
Yeah.
Okay. So we do this thing. We do like extended versions of shows. They're called director's cuts. So I want to stop this here for the main show, and then there's some more stuff I want to talk about going into, and then our Patreon people can listen to the extended show.
Nice.
Cool with you?
Cool with me.
All right, cool. So thank you everyone for listening. Episode 82. Thank you, Helen Hong. You can listen to her. She has 3 podcasts, or 2 podcasts and 1 kind of radio show. Is that kind of how it is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
that's correct.
Job Salute is the new one, which I love. On we're going to talk about the Blockbuster episode in a few minutes.
Yes.
She also has Go Fact Yourself, also wherever you get podcasts, and then on NPR, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Yes.
And you can follow her at Funny Helen Hong on all the.
Yeah, don't follow that bitch at Helen Hong.
No, she's an Armenian cunt. That other one. Follow Funny Helen Hong.
Helen Hong, the Armenian.
Yes, yeah. It's a very Armenian name. She's very woke Armenian. So thank you for joining us, Helen. This has been a good episode.
The moral of the story is don't try to kill someone with a Prius.
Ever, because it won't work. You're just going to send yourself to jail.
If you're trying to run someone off the road, don't be in a Prius. Just don't.
So if you guys want to hear what we talk about next, go to patreon.com/rareformradio. Sign up, pick a tier that works for you, and we'll see you over there. For everyone else, we will see you next week.
This is Lola, and I'm here to tell the world to stop being such pussies and listen to Rare Form Radio.